Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue now with our focus on Israeli politics. It's crunch time for Benny Gantz. The leader of the Blue and White Party has just hours left to form a coalition before the midnight deadline. Interim Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu making a dramatic announcement earlier in the day from Jerusalem, urging his political rival to announce a unity government tonight, adding it's not too late. Well, still in studio, Eli Kowaz, the Communications Director of the Israel Policy Forum, and Amir Weitman, Head of the Libertarian Caucus of the Likud Party. Thank you both so much for being here. Eli, I want to start with you. It's less than 6 hours now for Benny Gantz. We know he's going to make an announcement at 7:45 Israel time. That's not long now. Look into your little bowl and tell us, what do you predict is going to happen in the coming hours?
Well, I suspect that I don't think there's going to be that much in that ball, unfortunately, because I think Gantz is he's seen if he can maneuver and moves that he can do to try to form a coalition. But I hate to say it, we are getting closer and closer. And I don't believe that I'm saying it, but we're getting closer and closer to third elections. When the clock strikes midnight and the time expires for Gantz, it's going to be much harder to form a coalition, because as opposed to a simple majority, which is required right now, which just means you need to have more Knesset members in favor of forming a government. After midnight, you'll need to have 61 signatures for any Knesset member who deems himself worthy of being prime minister. And if no one was able to form a government now, and looking at the events that happened today, it's going to be very, very tough. And so I'm thinking that right now, if your money's on third elections, you made a good call.
Well, I don't know if that's the money that everybody wanted to be winning in a bet, but I'd like to bring Amir in now from Jerusalem, because Avigdor Liebermans blamed both Benny Gantz and Benjamin Netanyahu for this current deadlock when he spoke earlier in the day. Did you predict the country would be in this situation right now?
No, frankly, no. I really didn't believe months ago that we would arrive to such a situation. Looking forward, what solutions do we have? So we have one solution, which is Lieberman coming back to the right wing, which is the most logical and sensible decision he could make. And as a Knesset member from Israel Beitenu, who said just a couple of minutes ago to your correspondent, he really could get pretty much a lot of, everything he wants, or most of it. He could get a lot done, and there is no doubt that at this stage, the ultra-Orthodox parties are probably going to be willing to compromise on a number of issues. I think that it's possible to have a right-wing government. It's not so narrow, by the way. It's 63 members, which is a comfortable majority. I think that's probably, at the end of the day, in 3 weeks from now, hopefully, I hope that the way the path to this government will be found, because frankly, I don't really see the Blue and White Party coming with us in a unity government. They refuse essentially to have a real unity government, because they are making conditions such that it's not really possible to have a unity government which would encompass everybody, right? We're talking about unity. Unity is with everybody. So they don't really want unity. They want only unity, but by excluding the Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox parties. They refuse really to sit in the government with Benjamin Netanyahu, although the law allows him to carry on being prime minister. So it's very difficult to have a unity government under those conditions. I really hope that at the end of the day, they'll pass to have a real right-wing government together with Lieberman will be found, hopefully.
Eli, I want to bring you in here. Your thoughts, you're nodding. Do you agree with this possibility?
I mean, his the ideal scenario sounds like wishful thinking to me. I mean, Lieberman risked almost his political career. He could have joined the Netanyahu coalition back in April and could have avoided all of this, but he wanted, whether it's his personal animosity with Netanyahu, or if he's trying to advance a new agenda, which is issues of synagogue and state, which is something that he's really taken charge on. He brought in a lot of new voters from centrist parties. His promise to them was a unity government. So for him to go back to Netanyahu, it seems like he would be burying himself politically. Again, I think the main barrier to a unity government is something that we've seen time and time again, which is Benjamin Netanyahu trying to take on this his legal predicament and put himself before the country. That's why he doesn't want to disconnect with from this bloc that he's arranged, including the ultra-Orthodox parties and the other far right-wing parties. So I think this is an issue of Netanyahu's survival. And another thing to look at is, I mean, there were reports that Netanyahu's lawyers told him that it's best that he go for third elections, because if he's prime minister in the middle of an election campaign and he's able at that same time to talk about Iran, to go on state visits to Moscow or to Washington, he'll look a lot better in the eyes of the Israeli public.
Amir, I want to bring you in. I'm not sure if you heard earlier, my correspondent Owen Alterman was speaking to the Likud member of parliament, Yoav Kish, and asked him if he would recommend anyone other than Benjamin Netanyahu to form a new government. And he didn't really put his nails to the mast. In your opinion, are there other people within Likud who might throw their names in the hat, so to speak, put their names in the ring to say, okay, there are 21 days possibly now in which other names could come up? Your opinion on anyone else that might be keen?
Well, it's not a secret that Gideon Sa'ar wants to run to be the head of the Likud and the prime minister. We all know that. But having said that, I don't really believe at this stage and under these circumstances that anybody stands a chance. You also have to remember that Netanyahu is the elected leader of the Likud. So it doesn't really sound right, and I don't really believe that anybody else than Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be the candidate of the Likud to form a government in the next 3 weeks. Afterwards, of course, if we're going to new elections, which I hope there's still a chance of avoiding, but if we don't avoid these new elections and we're going to them, then yes, there might be primaries, and Gideon Sa'ar has already announced he will run, but that's already going to be the situation for the next elections, not in the next 3 weeks.
Amir Weitman and Eli Kowaz, thank you both so much. We really appreciate your insight on this very important day in Israeli politics.